Can a milkshake change your brain? Sounds like a wild idea, right? But a recent study suggests just that. Believe it or not, the food you eat might be doing more than filling your belly. It could be altering your brain's very wiring. Join me as we explore how what we eat may impact far more than our waistlines, delving into the fascinating science of how our brains respond to certain types of food. So without further ado, my name is Jeremy Colon, and this is The Dark Side of Fitness, episode 72. Thank you for joining me today. Welcome to my channel. We focus on transforming your body from the inside out. If you're ready to take your fitness journey to that next level, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more whole body transformation content. We know some foods are more accessible to overeat than others. For example, in a 2019 study, participants who were offered ultra-processed foods ate 500 calories a day more than their counterparts who ate only unprocessed foods. In a follow-up study, the researchers showed that the higher the energy density of a meal, the more someone will eat. The simplest solution is to avoid those foods, but it's much easier said than done. For one thing, an estimated 73% of the US food supply is now ultra-processed, according to a recent study. For another, they can taste really good, so you might not want to cut them out completely. But besides being ubiquitous and delicious, there's something else about those foods that keep us returning for more. That's the subject of a new study from researchers at the Max Planck Institute in Germany and Yale University in the US. How the study worked. The researchers recruited several dozen relatively lean men and women in their mid-20s. All of them were instructed to eat a yogurt snack twice a day in addition to their regular meals. For half of the participants, the yogurt was high in fat and sugar. For the other half, the yogurt was low in fat and sugar but fortified with protein to match the calories in the other group's snack. After 8 weeks, the researchers looked for differences in the participants' weight, blood work, taste preference, and perhaps most important, the way their brain regulates motivation and reinforced actions. What the study found: the participants gained a little weight, which you expect to happen when you add 2 daily snacks without cutting back on anywhere else. Weight gain was the same in the two groups. Again, that's what you expect when the snacks differed in content, but not in calories. Nor were there any meaningful differences in blood work. Here, though, is where it gets interesting. Taste preferences. After 8 weeks, the participants who ate high-fat, high-sugar yogurt twice a day showed a reduced preference for and the liking of the lowest fat snack option. Interestingly, they also show less desire for and enjoyment of the highest fat choice. As for sweetness, both groups expressed a reduced preference for drinks with the least sugar. There were no significant differences between the groups, nor responses to food. These are the biggest findings, but they take a bit of explanation. The researchers used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to see which parts of the brain reacted to different circumstances. Anticipation of a high-fat, high-sugar milkshake. For consumption of the milkshake, the participants who got fat and sugar-rich yogurt showed the biggest changes after 8 weeks. Anticipation of the milkshake produced stronger neural responses in 4 different parts of the brain relative to the participants' baseline activation in those areas. Consumption of the shake also turned the signal up in multiple brain regions. Neural responses to a learning challenge. Again, this one takes a bit of unpacking. The researchers wanted to see if changes to the brain's response to food would also affect participants' performance in a learning task. In this case, they used a test that had nothing to do with food. It involved sounds and images. The test required participants to anticipate which photos would follow which auditory cues. Some sound image associations were highly predictable, while others were unpredictable. Crucially, the fMRI scans focused on the parts of the brain that predicts upcoming rewards. Participants who got the high-fat, high-sugar yogurt showed increased recruitment of those rewards-driven neural circuits. The study's authors believe that their data suggests a startling possibility. Eating high-fat, high-sugar foods changes the brain in ways that predispose people to seek out those foods in pursuit of the rewards they offer. It's similar, the author says, to the way addictive drugs work. Each dose makes you more likely to seek out the next one. If further research supports that conclusion, it suggests that in some people, their food choices rewire their brains in ways that put them on a glide path to obesity, even if they're still relatively lean and have no other obvious risk factors. Now, that's some food for thought, isn't it? But what does this mean for your grocery list, your meals, and snacks? Stick around because later in this video, I'm going to share practical, Expert-backed tips that could revolutionize the way you eat and possibly make a big difference in your everyday diet and lifestyle. Now, here are some expert coaching takeaways. Number 1, your dietary pattern matters, even if you aren't focused on weight loss. When we talk about nutrition, we emphasize consistency. Your consistent dietary pattern, what you eat most of the time, is more important than what you have on special or not so special occasions. Based on this research, the more regularly you consume foods with higher fat and sugar, the more likely you will change your preferences, so you'll find lower fat options less appealing. You may even develop a neural drive to seek out high fat, high sugar foods. Number 2, for weight control, all calories count. Given the study's focus on fat and sugar, it's easy to miss an important finding. Both groups gained weight. The volunteers who ate low-fat, low-sugar snacks added as much weight as the ones who ate high-fat, high-sugar snacks. That's because the snacks added the same calorie load to participants' diets, despite the differences in macronutrients. It works the same way in reverse, as shown in a 2020 review that looked at weight loss diets for people with type 2 diabetes. The study found that no specific type of diet worked better than any other. What matters is the size of the energy deficit. Diets that cut the most calories lead to the most weight loss and were the most successful in achieving diabetes remission. As we come to a closing, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Your support means the world to me, and it's the reason why I continue to make valuable content like this for you. If you want to continue to see content like this, please like, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you never miss out on amazing expert tips. And until next time, see you in the next video. Thank you.